Hello everyone, this is a Greyshot 117 here, bringing you another Steel Division replay. Yes, it's been a while since I did a replay in this game. Why? I've been busy, had a lot of stuff going on, and honestly, for this game, I kind of lost track of stuff. But I am back to do a replay that I have been told is pretty good. Now, we'll see what happens. For those who don't know, or it's been a while since Steel Division replay, I'll get you up to date. Steel Division is a 1v1 to 10v10 RTS game that focuses on individual unit tactics in large groupings. Anyway, and they come in decks. Each deck has a set of unique units for that different commander, such as for the Allies, the 3rd Canadian Infantry, all set around Normandy, or the invasion of Normandy, is different than the 15th Infantry, which is different than the 101st Airborne. You place your units on the side. Once 2 minutes goes by, all units engage in middle, and the whole goal is to get more territory than the other side. And more territory means more points, more map control, and you win the game. Simple. There are 3 phases. Each one happens after 10 minutes, with the last one lasting 20 minutes, usually for a 40-minute game. So as a nice scale of escalation, and we'll see what happens. Also, the soundtrack's pretty good, yeah. It's like, hey, Greyshot, just what have you been doing? It's simple. Battlegrounds. Hate to say it, but Battlegrounds taking up a lot of my time. So that's why that's coming out, at least until next Greyshot X Greyshot comes out, and then we'll figure out what we'll do after that. But anyway, we shall see. Anyway, we have, and again, I've actually no idea who sent this in. There's so many people. So those who want to know, oh, Greyshot, I don't want to know the name. Well, great. You're about to know 20. We have Field, Bijak, Han, Toma. I love how people are going to be like, oh, Greyshot, you're messing up the names. I don't care. Edel, Keck, Nate, Stormtrooper, Wikipedia, Wilhelm, nice. Meryl, AI, very easy. I suspect that's an AI. Captain Jericho, M3, Adam, TomTom, Ariel, Jin, Napoleon. There you go. That's everyone. And we'll see how things go. With this map, usually you'll have a bunch of people fighting over here. Once they gain map control, they'll push over on the right, or other way. Well, if they get one side, they'll push on the other. And you can see here, there's this riverway. A lot of people try to get on the other side, but it doesn't necessarily work all that great. Doesn't necessarily work. Now, let's see. Once the game goes, I'll be able to detect where everyone is going, and we'll get right into the game. But until then, I have no idea. This left flank is very wide open, so I could see a decent push over here. But this guy has a lot of, let's see. Yep, this could cause an issue. If you're wondering, oh, Greyshot, what are you talking about? It's right here. You see what's all here? This is just a big traffic jam. Though, we can see here, there's actually 2 people. There's Tom and there's Jericho. So 2 people pushing up. I see a great right flank coming in to break them apart. Whereas we can see here the Axis moving up fighter planes to knock out some bombers. Again, right now, one of the things that people will do is they'll send planes. Here, let's zoom in. They'll send planes to call down airstrikes to stop people from moving up. But it looks like this guy's like, fuck you. That will not happen. And managed to shoot down the enemy plane. Or the Allied planes, anyway. It's a very nice job for the Axis. And actually, they have more fighters. Although the Allies do have their own fighter. I think that he saw the 2, and he's like, I'm not dealing with it. We can see here, again, they have multiple fighter planes, so they're making sure that no fire bomber comes in, which, alas, I prefer. I may have been the dick who have caused fire on major roads to take positions. Again, don't blame me. Just blame me. We have a double team over here. This guy's going to probably have to lock down this area. Try to hold out as long as possible. Luckily, this city's actually pretty good for defense. I know you could say, oh, here, just line up the forest area and open fire. But because of the choke points, it would be very difficult for him to push if he locks this down correctly. We can see infantry coming out, running in, recon units also deployed, and a lot of infantry trying to come around that flank along with a direct assault. So we'll see how well things go. Oh, nothing here. That's a huge open flank. Again, this is why in a 10v10, it's like you want to kind of space things out kind of evenly. While the Allies sure are going to do well on this right flank, we can see here another big giant opening, which is why you want to cover it as much as possible. We have fighter groups going in mid. Looks like they're knocked out that Spitfire. Poor Spitfire. Again, veteran troops help take out lighter recruits very easily. We have infantry going into the middle area, Trying to lock that down. And overall, things are going well. If the Allies can push through here, they should be doing just fine. But again, it's just who can stabilize their front line faster. And right now, the Allies doing a pretty damn good job. Though the Axis are pushing up through. Wow, yeah, they can push up through here. And the big thing about this one, if they push all the way through, they can lock down the center, and they'll take over a huge portion of the map if they bum rushed it and then lock down here. Because you can see here, vehicles can only come out this way and this way. They can't come out here, so they can lock this area down pretty easily. So we'll see what happens. We have guys over here. If you're wondering what this is, that means they have to return fire mode. So if they're hit, then they can return fire. They're not supposed to engage, which is a good way for sneak attacks. You can see like this guy who has a Panzerschreck group, which would suck because, again, it's a Panzerschreck group, so it can't really fight infantry. So if it can get at least their cover and not be seen, it should be fine. If you're wondering if it's like this, where it's kind of like fading in and out, they're not being seen. If it's like kind of like a stable, like this, it's being seen by something right now. Airstrike coming in on target. Hitting the infantry. Very nicely done. Fighter pulling back. Look at that awesome view. That's why I like Steel Division as well, because you get some great aerial shots. And we can see here we have no, I'm sorry, not rocket artillery. Oh, we just have infantry and a sniper. Wow, that was an interesting sniper shot. It looked like a goddamn rocket firing through. But I guess in this game, it's like, you know what? Let's just make the snipers really obvious, so that way, of course, they can fire. So, oh, well, I'm sorry. We do have artillery. Allied artillery with the 75 opening fire on the city. Allies trying to push through. They have flamethrower units, much other normal infantry pushing in with machine guns, trying to open fire. We do have a tank here with no real AT to speak of. They try to move in with some of the AP rifles for close range, but it's going to take some time. Anyway, fire coming in with artillery could hurt the tank as well. The low guy's trying to push up. Infantry is trying to hide over here while under fire. Actually, at this point, they're just being annihilated. I would move, man. But yeah, they're trying to open fire over there, but there's too many buildings, Allied buildings, and the Axis are kind of on the retreat, as you can see. Woo, things are not looking well. Actually, hold on. What is that? We have a Panzer L6. Interesting. He's trying, but alas, the artillery is just not helping. Plus, the infantry, if they get close. Allies still pushing in through this middle area, although we have recon so they can be detected. Not really much here. We can see the Axis also pushing up, trying to get to that choke point. Very slowly pushing in. We have a command vehicle trying to push up, but I don't think he sees this. So with we can see here the Panzerfaust ability, they should be able to neutralize that. We can check their range. 400 meters. This one has a range of, I think it's 100 meters? Around there. So they should open fire rather shortly on this unit. We shall see. Come on, Panzer. There we go. There's the Panzerfaust. And I think another one's about to be fired. Yep. And because they had to fall back, they instantly surrendered. Airstrike coming in on target. Missile strike hitting the track, but alas, not enough damage to make it fall back. So we can still keep pinning that unit. And that unit is so deep in enemy territory that they are screwed. We also have a Firefly over here, a stolen Firefly. Looks like a firebomb went out. But that Firefly is pretty damn powerful at versing Allied armor. Though we have a Little Johns coming in. And Little Johns have enough firepower, we shall see. They should be able to crack that. But right now, yeah, the Axis are coming in and pushing very deep into Allied territory, so things are not looking good in that sector. But on the other hand, Axis doing pretty damn good over here as well, and the Allies pushing here. So I love how it's just like this push and pull going on all across the map. But eventually, map control will win out, and it depends on who is able to hold their ground for long periods of time. Axis still pushing up here. Should be able to lock things down. The Little John's opening fire. They managed to push back the Firefly. Very effective. But again, the Firefly has a range of... Well, I'm sorry. The Little John's range of 1,000, I think. No, 800, sorry. But the Firefly, if I can click on that unit... Oh, it's falling back, so I can't. Little John trying to kill it. But it looks like it's now focusing on this thing. Which is a Cromwell against stolen British armor. Left by either Dunkirk or other British attacks. But yeah, its gun is meant for anti-infantry, not armor. So while it can hurt armor, it's not that great. Mosquito coming in. Most likely he's going to drop fire on that Firefly. Try to make sure it's pinned so Little John can finish it off. Yep, cause a little bit of fire. Make it just enough. Just enough. Oh, not enough to make it have issues. And now it can constantly fire upon the enemy as they retreat. And with a 3 armor, that 16-point gun is going to penetrate it pretty damn easily if it can keep in range and if it can fire. Oh, barely misses the target. And the Lil Johns are like, fuck this, and running like hell back. And at this point, I wouldn't mind, because right now that Firefly is hitting it. And last thing they want is to be annihilated. Anyway, infantry being pinned down by that half-track. Do they have any AT? They do. They have a Panzerschreck group, but it's still pretty damn far, so they can have a lot of issues. Right now, we have the Allies gaining victory majority over the map with 51% control. Not by much, but still. We have a recon plane over this location, which goes to show they have pretty much no AA to speak of. So this recon plane should be easily taken out, but alas, it is not. We can see here an armor column, infantry moving up in the forest area that's being hit by artillery. Again, this recon detects everything in the area, so they can detect enemy troop movements, which allows for, well, the Axis to pretty much be on guard. Also, for these AT guns are very powerful, but they need to be hidden. They have 20 damage, but again, they're very close range. We have allied armor kind of just back behind enemy lines. I'm very curious why they're back there or how they got back there. But again, there's this huge open front, so again, push here. Kind of weird. Lil Jon trying to push up, but that Firefly is still pushing him back. Let's see. That city engagement. Oh, wow. They're running out of ammo. That's how long they've been fighting. They've been pushed back. I believe the fight was originally here, and now they're pushed back into deeper into the portion of town. So, yeah, things are not going well. That artillery is just hammering them. And it looks like Ariel is just focusing mostly on artillery with his guns hitting that city, slowly pushing back the Axis. But the artillery is, as we can see, having issues. It needs to reload, having a lot of time with that. So he's trying to bring up more and more munitions, but he's definitely wasting a lot of those munitions on this artillery for a slow and steady push. It's helpful, but again, you have to make sure you keep pushing. Holy crap. So we have Napoleon doing what Napoleon does best and just wreck everyone in the game. His outer line is pretty thin, so a good Axis charge could break them. But now they have 54% of the game, so the Axis really need to do something. Wow, the Allies are flanking Allied units, I'm sorry, Axis units over here. Looks like they'll be able to enclose them, encircle them, which will allow them easier. Well, they did. They encircled. They encircled the Allies. Although we have, as you can see here, some fighting going on. Axis trying to bring in some air support to help them out. Funny enough, I actually did not know this. Apparently at Stalingrad, the head German commander actually proposed a breakthrough attempt to get out of it. And actually, technically, they would have actually been able to, judging by position and how many units. If the Axis would have pushed immediately, they probably would have broken through and reconnected the line. But Hitler's like, no, what we're going to do is we're going to do an air landing, and you stay there. And it fucked them over in the end. But it's also because Hitler fired all of the generals for incompetence and was a complete idiot. So, for like battlefield tactics, stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, push out if you can, which is what the Allies did in a few other instances during the war and managed to either be fine or not, like Dunkirk. Dunkirk, it was they were able to be fine, and in other cases in, well, Russia, like, oh, was it the Minsk Pocket, I think? What? No. I'm trying to think of it, but yeah, they got annihilated. Okay, this is another example where the Axis just got freaking annihilated. Holy crap, the Allies just completely annihilate all that infantry. And now they have a huge, huge gap with just an Axis kind of center here. We see here William, as an AI, is going to push up a ton of infantry and armor. Look at all this. So yeah, that's a lot of points kind of on standby. He has nothing here stopping it, so I see a big counterattack coming in. We already are in phase B, so we can actually expect some better armor being deployed. So the Allies need to really do something because they have nothing guarding that flank. Anyway, we have additional forces coming in. That city's still in pretty hot water. The Allies slowly pushing with that Panzer VI still alive. Or Panzer L6 still alive. I don't want to actually call it Panzer VI because then it's like, oh, Greyshot, that's not right. Alright, I get it. We have AT strafes coming in, trying to push back that armor. Managed to kill a Churchill. I love the Ju-87s, I honestly love, because of the fact that they are very good at killing tanks. Anyway, you can see here that there are a lot of planes in AA going on. Lots of explosions. But they managed to... Oh, wait, no! They're not fine. 8 fighter planes coming in, knocking them out. And the Allies knocking out one of the JUs before it could escape. It's coming back for a second strafe. Can the JU escape? Yes, it does. Managed to escape the battlefield. Allies pushing in, though. Very rough on Kekstani. Although they managed to delay some of the armor and the AT guns are opening fire, there are a lot of Cromwells. And, yeah, I was going to say that Churchill moving up. Oh, you have Wolverines moving up as well. Allies making a slow, steady push. Axis on the defensive with artillery batteries, preparing to open fire. And if I were them, I would absolutely open fire, because right now the Allies are making their slow and steady push. If the Allies gain control of this right-hand side, they could essentially and feasibly lock down this territory and GG the game by holding down a third of the map under their territory. But again, the Allies are already doing so over here as well. But the Axis, once again, managed to push all the way here, which is a good choke point. If they could actually put some infantry here, I would say that the Axis have pretty much gained complete supremacy in this little water area, or like the Riverlands Bridge, whatever you want to call it. Bombs being called in, but really not doing... Oh, actually, no, that one did a little bit more. Made the Firefly be like, yeah, I'm in some hot water. But not by all that much. We have a ton of infantry coming in. So the Axis trying to bring in their reserves. Again, setting in a huge group of infantry is great, but remember, you only have so many units. So they have to lock down that area. Bunch of Allied forces pushing in from that hedge grove, beating back the German grenadiers, and now we have artillery opening fire on those AT guns, hopefully knocking out the AT guns fast enough so that way when the bigger armor comes in, they're fine. That being said, there is a lot of armor, so enough shots, even from a lower range tank, can even like push a King Tiger back. We have additional Shermans, Mark 5s coming in, so they're coming down the main road. These things are damn powerful, and they're going up to the front line. It's going to take some time, but they have pretty much the highway straight there. Axis still holding control of this sector, so that's doing pretty good. We have more Allied infantry moving up. Going to try to lock it down, I'm assuming, Han's forces. The city's still under fierce combat with flamethrower units moving in, but the Germans are still holding, although we have the very easy AI. Once again, I don't think it's an AI, but I could be wrong. Moving in and trying to push up. I also love how MGs from units open fire on the planes. It's hilarious in my opinion. I had in Company of Heroes 2 a Tiger's MG knock out a plane. It's one of my most viewed videos, but it's great. Anyway, speaking of which, that flank. So yeah, Axis forces managed to overwhelm Napoleon's forces, once again overextending his lines, causing Napoleon to possibly lose a majority of his forces in a place that he should not have pushed all the way to. Because again, he didn't cover. It's like, oh, what is it? Yeah, when Napoleon pushed into Russia, I think he had 600,000 men. And then when he left, I think he had 50,000. And he just got slowly pushed back by, like, the combined European forces. Anyway, fighter groups just knocked out that... Oh, wow. Germans just pincered that plane from the sky. That was terrifying. We also have a Panther D moving up. Again, very powerful tank. Very hard to kill. And moving straight up to the front. Could be a big issue for the Allies right here, which is barely holding on to whatever territory they hold or they have left. Not really a lot of big AT. We do have a Churchill here. And a 17-pounder, which could help. But yeah, things are not going well. Fighter groups coming in, helping to remove the infantry stuck by the enemy lines. Napoleon's force is currently being surrounded by Eddles. And Napoleon surrenders! Oh, wow, that sucks for him. Let's see, bombers coming in, trying to push back the Allies. Allies making a big charge into Allied controlled territory. Wow, holy crap, that was a great hit. What was that? That was an ME-109 G2, which called it an airstrike. Beautiful one, which blew up all the Allied infantry moving up. That's a great hit, and actually saved a lot of the Axis forces from having to fall back. There were too many if they would have actually successfully pushed. Those airstrikes literally just saved the day, and the entire Allied offensive is just got, well, screeched to a halt. Holy mackerel, that's effective. More infantry coming in to help hold this sector. Things are looking good. Actually, Wilhelm might be able to push up pretty far. There's one AT gun stopping really the entire front. Sure, Napoleon can move up here, a lot of his forces, but overall, that's a huge chunk of the map the Axis can push in. And remember, the Axis already pushed here, so if they can push on this left flank, should be fine. Now remember, they still the Allies still have a huge amount of points, but now the Axis are gaining control more and more of the map, and we're about to go into phase C, which will allow them to get additional armor. So let's check over here. Huge battle going on again. We have Wikipedia, we have Stormtrooper, and I think there's a third guy. Yeah, Keck, Stani. All three armies are all currently pushed up against Morel. Who's the other guy? Come on, come on. Jericho. Memphis. Morel, I think, is already there. And there's another guy in here somewhere. Whatever. There's at least 3 versus 3. The Allies have way more men. If I were the Allies, honestly, I would not have this many men in this area. I would come around either side and try to give a flank, because right now all these guns are kind of stationed forward. Now I love this recon attack, because that's a great idea. Stormtrooper is just saying, fuck it, we'll just send Stormtrooper equivalent of Germans out that can't hit shit, but at least can hold the enemy back. And they are getting annihilated by all the good and very veteran forces. Woo-wee! Although artillery's coming in, trying to hold back the Allied attack, and actually looks like pushing back some of the heavier Churchills and whatnot, which is a good idea. Allies slowly being held. Very nice. And right now the game is 50-50 in favor of the Allies. We have a Panther coming out. Looks like we have Stug. But again, that M4 could kill it if it hits a nice flank. Although it doesn't seem to be focused on that for some damn reason. Or the Stug seems to be kind of just walking out. Are you really not shooting? Why is your gun there and not here? It's like, shoot the guy on the road. You have a perfect flanking opportunity. Seriously. The Stug's like, wait, there's an enemy unit there? Wow. Oh, it's the Stuart and the Honey opening fire, just annihilating through machine gun fire all that infantry. Oof, that's not good. We have sextons coming in. I almost said priests, but no, they're sextons. What'd they say over here? I can't see what they said. But I'm assuming it's either attack or defend here or something. A lot of artillery coming down, trying to break them. Allies losing a lot of men. Actually, I think they're kind of redistributing to the left a little bit, try to push. If I was them, I would kind of flank on the right, because you can kind of come up this way. But that's me. Oh, actually, hold on. Big Allied push. Looks like Tom is like, fuck you. We're taking back this, like, island peninsula. Seeing a lot of men, artillery, and everything to break up this area. Firefly trying to hold out against artillery, and it's doing just fine against that Calliope. But again, the infantry is still being pushed back. That's actually, if they can break through here, that would be a big upset for the Germans and actually conquer a lot of territory. Though we see here the Germans have this big pincer, has this big bubble. More additional planes coming in with, what is that? Ju-85. Dropping in heavy bombs on the city. Oh, wow, that city just got bombed pretty bad. The city is now on fire. Additional planes coming in. Looks like a tank strike knocked out an AA gun. Though it looks like it's under heavy fire. Can it escape is the question. Pulling back. Seems to be just fine. No enemy fighters inbound. And it looks like the plane managed to survive. Very nice job. Very nice job indeed. Anyway, moving on. The Axis actually getting a huge supremacy over the map. We have pretty much the right, actually no, that left hand hook is pretty much the farthest the Allies have gotten, with the right hand, as we can see, just barely holding on. Napoleon's forces still there, and he's bringing up forces for the front, but still, it's kind of not that much, honestly, for a front line. We have Tonic slowly pushed up a little bit, but he's not doing all that great. Remember, the front line's like here. We still have Wilhelm pushing up pretty damn far, although we can see here Adam setting a lot of forces to counteract those units over here. we have Ariel still holding that city area. Airstrikes coming in on AI forces, but again, he's doing just fine. And again, looks like we have more fighter groups and everything trying to hold on to that left flank. The Allies having some issues. We have a lot of infantry pushing up, with fighter supremacy knocking down Allied planes trying to push up in this region. We'll see if additional reinforcements can either hold out this area or possibly will get pushed back just as much. We do have a jumbo on the field. A jumbo is essentially a souped-up Sherman with enough armor to hold back a king. But that being said, its gun is pretty pathetic, so it's mainly used as a buffer, not really as a frontline battle tank, although it can take a lot of damage. We have a mosquito coming in, dropping in fire. I'm assuming here, kind of hold them back, but we shall see. I think it... Yep, dropped in fire on the main road, stop people from coming in. Additional forces opening fire, trying to stop all the infantry on the main road. Again, a huge choke point. Although it doesn't look like they have enough guns, with only one half-track opening fire. Doesn't see all those men are just repositioning out into the forest area to continue their assault. But it's a nice attempt. I would actually probably move up more forces over there. A T-gun pushing back the whirlwind. It's very nice in that region. Planes just trying to help out and trying to bomb the Axis in this region. They're really desperate right now, I can tell, with the Allies, because again, they're focusing all their efforts into breaking the Axis over here. If they break them in this region, they can essentially take over a huge portion of the map and maybe win, because as we see in the other regions, things are not going all that well. Axis forces have just been hammering the Allies on the other side of the map. And yeah, Napoleon's AI versus Wilhelm's AI seems to be kind of a mixed bag, back and forth, with the other guys just either barely holding or losing, with the best guy in the city, and actually going back to him, it's been pretty much a stalemate for a majority of this time. Although, I will say that the Axis have been holding out pretty damn well, and looks like now we're relying on flamethrower units to try to bird each other out of the city. So this city has just had artillery, bombs drop, now flamethrower units are going around. Allied half-tracks were either supporting or bringing up additional infantry, trying to break the foothold on either side, but simply put, it's just not happening. Axis fighters trying to clear the skies, and we have a Flak 88. But again, Allied bombers just continuing to bomb what German forces are there, or between their forces. And it actually seems like Napoleon not doing half bad. Though Wilhelm, the AI, bringing up a metric ton of infantry for a big push, I assume, and an attempt to try to break them. Also, I think it's funny that the Axis are fighting on this side, where it looks like Normandy. It looks like they're trying to take control of mainland Europe from the Allies. It's like the Axis are doing the huge naval invasion, which is kind of funny. Allied planes pushing back the Axis, allowing for air supremacy in the region, allowing bombers to pretty much help hold the Allied positions in the area, gaining a few more positions, but again, overall, they are being pushed back in most places, including over here, which actually looks like the the Allies had to fall back. Axis forces from Schmoesfield pushing in, helping control this region. We have a couple Wolverines on the flank trying to help out, but yeah, things are not looking all that great. Allied forces did a lot of damage over here, but doesn't seem like they'll be able to break anytime soon. And actually, if I were them, maybe reposition here and try to push this way, that'd be a little bit chunk. But yeah, remember, they have majority of the game for the longest time, and now things are not going all that well for them. Oh, shoot, now we have a Jagdpanther on the field. Powerful tank, very powerful, and very good at killing enemy armor with a 22-point gun, which essentially means it can kill anything that's less than 22. Let's double-check the Allies and see what. 7, 11, 7, 8... 5, 3, 4, 3, aka everything is less than 22, so everything's going to get popped. Axis and Allied forces continuing to fight, though. It looks like the Axis have managed to hold. Actually, a Tiger came up to support, and we have a Vet 2 Tiger, so nothing to seize that at all. So very nicely done, trying to hold this sector for as long as possible. Allied forces coming in on Axis bombers, so it looks like they're trying to knock them out. A lot of AA in the region, though. Doesn't look like those bombers are able to do all that much. Most likely it's a desperation move with those bombers, even though they know they'll probably die, which does suck for them. We can see here the Mustangs coming in. Probably going to shoot down that HS-129. Oh, no! We actually, the MEs come in, kill one, but it looks like that Mustang's still under trying to kill it. Managed to not, and actually the 109s come back around and knock it out. Very, very cool. Very cool indeed. Again, luring the Allies into a trap with air supremacy. Overall, this is the only major breakage point on the entire map with, yep, the rest of the map kind of going back and forth. 12 minutes remaining. Looks like the Allies over here just having a rough time. We have a bunch of Panthers moving in. Looks like that they're unable to really push in this region, but the Axis kind of just locking things down through a majority of the map. In the city area, I'll give it this. Ariel's doing a pretty damn good job. Looks like he managed to kill a lot of the German forces and might, by the end of this game, actually take this city, which would be an accomplishment because, goddamn, he's been fighting for it for a half hour. I would give it to one guy or the other at this point. Anyway, the big problem with this map is that both sides did these huge, massive, like, giant assaults, and what they didn't stabilize their lines, which allowed each team to find out, like, oh, there's an open spot over there. Okay, let's focus there. And then it just became a battle of who can find the most openings and who can use that to their advantage. And by the end, the Germans found that they had more attempts at breakage than the Allies and were able to use that and now cemented their position with heavier armor and equipment. While the Allies, they could still do the same thing, but they had less attempts at that. Oh wow, the King Tiger over here reinforcing. This thing is a beast on the enemy field and you take a lot of damage. So the fact that it's firing on all those Allied forces, ugh, not a good thing for the Allies. Allied fighter planes doing a bit better on this side. AI very easy surrenders. Oh boy, Napoleon barely holding this front. Where's the AI? Where's AI? Oh, he was the guy trying to break over here, and yeah, the Axis holding on to this little piece of territory very effectively. And I'll give it to this. I'll give it to Smofield. He's one of the main reasons why the and I'm sorry, Han as well. They're the two main guys that actually help push the Axis, the Allies back as far as possible for the longest time. Remember, they pushed them here from the beginning. I'm able to hold that. If that wasn't the case, we can see here by points, the Axis just now gained supremacy. And yes, by the way, I could have gone over all these doctrines, but pretty much everyone's in the game. So I'm not, like, everyone has all sorts of units, which either veteran infantry or not. But anyway, yeah, so it looks like the Allies overall just got hammered. And these guys over here, while they did a pretty damn good assault with a lot of troops, have just been unable to break the Axis in the region, and with that, pretty much just things are not going well. I love this guy having this giant stormtrooper, this giant defensive line just in case they fall. Like, he's prepped and ready to go for either a massive assault when the Allies push in, or just a defensive line. And I don't think he really needs it, because A, these troops are, they're somewhat veteran, but they're okay, and B, the Allies have just not had the fighting power as of late. They've just been really not able to push. We have a lot of bombers coming in now, and fighters coming in. Looks like they're trying to help clear the skies and knock out these Allied, Allied units on the left. Actually, a good attack over here managed to take over a lot of territory. 41% of the map now in Allied control. That's pitiful. A lot of AA in the region, though, making planes pretty much not being used. We have some artillery trying to push back the Allied troops, but things are not going well. More Panthers, everything being deployed. ... is barely holding this region. Over in the city, looks like was pushing up, unfortunately having some trouble with, of course, Flak 88 opening fire on open troops in the region, plus kind of being pinned by two groups kind of doesn't help. Axis forces pushing over here. Oh, I forgot about this guy. Sorry, Tonic. Yeah, it looks like he's being slowly pushed back. We have not really a ton of AA in the region, so Bomber's going to come in and do a lot of damage. I love how the Sextons are opening fire with bombs, but the bomb still dropped on it. Axis forces still pushing up. We do have a command Churchill, but there's nothing really inside its range to boost, which, again, is not really a reason to have this. Again, if it's in that range, you want to boost it. But that way it boosts other forces, make them better. Like a Vet 2 or Vet 3 AT gun's better than a Vet 1 or Recruit. But anyway, they're trying to push up. We do have a Churchill coming in. Looks like he's using that hedgerow as cover to flank it. What is that noise? Oh, we have a... Oh, I can't wait to watch this. We have an AT gunner coming in. Looks like... I'm guessing he's going to charge that Churchill, which is right there. Oh, what's he hitting? He hit the Sexton. Very nice. He actually has enough guns for another strike if you want to. Though, a ton of Spitfires coming in. Looks like it was a... Oh, wow. Yeah, they were waiting. Tonic was waiting for that. Whew. Revenge at its finest. Anyway, we have a Sherman fighting a Panther close up. Unfortunately, that Sherman has less armor, making the Panther a victor in this route. And I'm sorry, Panzer IV, my bad. Panzer IV fighting, not Panther. My apologies. One fighter versus 4. Goddamn. I remember that there's a scene in Fury where you can see all the Allied bombers come in, and there's like, I think 3, maybe 5 German planes that are going in to engage, and all you see is Brad Pitt say, "Let them have it," or it's either "Go get them, boys," or "Let them have it," and it's like one of the most like horrific scenes, because if you're a fighter pilot on the other side and you see that much air power, it's like fucking like Independence Day with an alien invasion. It's like there's nothing you can do. The enemy has, well, okay. For the most part, the Allies would win. The only time that actually that didn't happen is actually German jet fighters. The Germans did deploy some jet fighters toward the end. They had a couple. The problem was, A, they were running out of airfields, and B, the jet fighters were they would fly past the quickest the fastest Allied planes in the skies. But the problem was the fact that they could be hit while taking off, or if they went in for a bombing run, because they would slow down. So then they could be fought. But if it was just one of our, I don't know, P-47s or something, like anything, like any type of actual plane, even our fastest ones, it would have a real tough time fighting that. Which is why when I see the jet fighters in like Wolfenstein, I'm like, okay, that's something I believe, because just like it's just a upgraded like current design German jet fighter, just like with a little bit of flair for the game. But yeah, like of course they would have like a way faster plane, because they already had faster planes, just they need them earlier and in bulk, and they would have actually won. But that thing in the sky, yeah, could have torn Allied forces apart. But the problem is they had so few that the Allies would just stick together, and eventually they would be fine. Nice hit with the 129, managed to hit that little Stuart command vehicle, kind of weakened them all in the area. But unfortunately, there's a ton of AA in the region, which is not helping. Plus, you have a Mustang coming in. Yeah, so it looks like the Allies are still holding here, but the Axis are pushing up on the left, and additional forces on the right. Again, maybe Stormtrooper, move up your forces. You can maybe help secure that line or come in on a flank. I could really see a flank coming in from behind as a possibility with a bunch of armor, just like completely like shocking them with a big push, just opening fire from behind. You bring in bombers on the side too, because again, the Axis have control over here, so you could bring up your bombers here and hit these guys from a flank. You don't always have to charge in from the front, which a lot of people do. I get with normal bombers, yes, it's a bomb, yes, but with an AT strafe, if you want to make sure you use less rounds and it can keep that plane in the sky longer, that's what you need. Anyway, so a lot of fighting going on. While the Allies being pushed back from the city, looks like Ariel is just using whatever he can to hold. But one final push from Nate to take that area. Not much time remaining. Yeah, at this point, looks like the Axis have lost the game. Ton of fighters coming in. The Tonic guy is just not giving up air supremacy, not without a fight. And Jesus Christ, that plane got knocked out of the sky very quickly. Not a ton of... Well, actually, no, he has a bunch of Flak 88s. They're just not that effective versus a lot of planes. But eventually, over time, yes, but they're single shot planes. I love there's like a random plane just on the border. It's just like outside the zone of map, because why not? But in any case, I'm going to fast forward it from here, because really at this point, there's not much going to happen. 80% map control, so the Axis have won. And again, what did the Axis do in this game that was actually to help them win? Well, it's very simple. They pushed with the Allies with a large chunk of force in. It's heavy 10, I understand that. But they found the breakthroughs and the holes in the Allied lines, because each side pushed so far that you're eventually going to have these giant gaps in the line. And they were like, okay, push here. And that's exactly what they did, and they broke through real easily. But yeah, that's what they did. And while the allies still very powerful, you can see here this big blob is just like kind of just like a big mess right now. They haven't really been able to push or do anything here. They've just kind of been sitting. They haven't really done a major offensive push or even covering. And right now, we can see here Stormtroopers using his forces, and like I recommended, flanking around the side, which would actually help cut off allied forces in the region from resupplying and just help in the meantime. Now, it's funny how there's a minute 33 left in the game, or minute 29, and this is a minute like 18. So the Axis will win by points, barely. Like it's like if you have to get like if you have a physical exam and you have to get 50% on that exam to win, you got a 50.001, and that's what you got. it's like that close to passing or winning anyway. Yeah, it doesn't look there looks like no offensive power. The Axis are just kind of surrounding them at this point. And yeah, it's a big loss for the allies. Overall, let's double check damage. Gin Tonic, Jesus Christ, a lot of damage, and also morale, quite a bit of damage. Have to give it to those guys. They fought really well, with the most losses going to Napoleon. Yeah, once again, like Napoleon, big massive assault backfires in the end. Also, I love how Napoleon's playing his Canadian forces, but whatever. Anyway, other losses went to a very easy AI. He tried, but unfortunately failed for some massive pushes. Nate did fantastic with nearly 6,000 damage. Very nicely done. And again, he pushed up the front. Let's see, who else did very well, or at least loss-wise? The Axis, probably the worst guy was Tom. And yeah, he got wrecked towards the end. What else is there? Not really much. We have like Han and Schmofield. They did pretty damn good up the middle gut as well. But yeah, overall that's game. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you. Oh, wow, actually Wikipedia. Jesus, a little bit more damage next time. A little bit more. Same thing with you, Napoleon and Ariel. Well, actually, yeah, funny enough, Ariel, he was the guy fighting City. He took a lot of losses holding that area. Ugh. Anyway, that's game one. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. This has been Greyshot17 doing a Steel Division replay. And before I go, I want to thank my Patreon supporters like Tim, like Sean, like Ace, and like Carter. Thank you guys so much for your awesome support. You guys rock. Seriously, you do. But in any case, it's been Greyshot17. I'll see you all next time.